What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Episode 32 of the Free Game Podcast. I'm back again. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you guys' week was great. Wasn't for me, but obviously we're going to get into it. But before we start, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you are subscribed on Apple Podcasts, appreciate it. If not, go do that. It'll all be in the description. Shout out to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and even TikTok. I'm on there. So, all right. Let's just get to it. It was a sad day for me yesterday. Alabama 21, Oklahoma 23. Like I said, I didn't expect us winning out. Okay. I didn't expect us going undefeated after Florida State. I thought we were going to at least lose one game. If we did lose one game, there were still high chances that we would get in the playoff. There's still high chances that we get in the playoff. As a matter of fact, there's high chances that we even get to the SEC championship, which I'll talk about in a second. But yesterday's game was, if I had like one word, it would be frustrating. The game was frustrating. It wasn't like Oklahoma was just these world beaters. You know what I mean? The Oklahoma offense didn't really get anything. The Alabama defense was phenomenal. The only issue that I feel like we had was offensively, we couldn't get a rhythm. We couldn't get any momentum. We tried running the ball. I think we rushed for like 80 yards total. Tie 28 for 42, 326 yards, a touchdown, a pick six, by the way. I mean, if you go through those stats and you didn't see the score, you would think Alabama would win handily. But turnovers, a couple fumbles, high snaps on a field goal, which led to a miss, and just bad throws, bad decisions by Ty. This wasn't a coaching issue. This isn't Kalen DeBoer's issue. This is mainly Ty's issue, especially when it came down to nut crunching time. When he needed to make a play, when he needed to make a third down, fourth down, it was like he seen deers in the headlights. Like, it was bad. It was like he's never been there before. It almost reminded me of Florida State. It looked like the Florida State mentality where he felt like he hasn't been there before. I mean, it was bad. It was a frustrating game. It was a little bit embarrassing. But am I mad? No, I'm not mad per se. Now, we should have won that game. I mean, we probably handed Oklahoma 17 of their 23 points probably, just off of turnovers, bad field position that we put the defense on, gimmies, like, I don't know. John Mateer, he played all right. Like, you know, he threw for 138 yards, 23 rushing. But we should have beat that team. Now, thankfully, we don't have to see an Oklahoma defense again because that defense is for real. I think both teams, their defense really stepped up. And, yeah, so now we fall to 8-2, okay? Here's how this situation's going to go. Well, I don't know how it's going to go, but here's how I would like for it to go, okay? We demolish Eastern Illinois, hopefully, okay? You can't put anything past anything. It's 2025 college football. And then our playoff hopes are on the line in Jordan-Hare at Auburn, which is my worst nightmare because I hate playing Auburn when something matters. Now, if you're not an Alabama fan, you could say, oh, it's just Auburn. Like, they just fired their head coach. They suck. You guys should demolish them. But if you talk to an Alabama fan, yeah, we're pretty scared. It doesn't matter what the record is for Auburn. It doesn't matter what the situation is. All that matters is when it's at Jordan-Hare and there's playoff implications on the line, SEC championship implications on the line. Something weird always happens. Now, when we had Jalen Milroe, it was, the 4th and 32 when he threw a Hail Mary. I call it Hail Milroe. A lot of people call it other things. That was crazy. But that's the thing, is like weird shit happens in Jordan-Hare. And now we put ourselves in a position to where we have to win that game handedly. Because the narrative is going to be, is a 10-2 Alabama team that doesn't go to the SEC championship. Are they a lock for the playoffs? Yes, we are a lock for the playoffs. Best case scenario right here. Alabama wins the next 2 games, doesn't go to the SEC championship. It'll be like Georgia A&M, hopefully. And we're sitting 10-2. We don't have to play in a conference championship game. We got the best resume in almost all college football when it comes to 10-2 teams. 4 ranked opponents beat all in a row, by the way. Yeah, that's a lock. That's a lock for the playoffs. Now, here's what is going to be crazy, okay? And I need all the Alabama fans to realize what I'm about to say, because this is probably, this is a reality. We get to 10-2, right? We go to the SEC championship. Let's say A&M loses and Georgia loses to Georgia Tech. So that means we'll have the same record as Georgia, same SEC record as Georgia, but we beat Georgia. So they would probably put us in the SEC championship. Okay? If we lose the SEC championship, we would be a 3-loss team. But the committee said that they aren't going to diminish teams who went to the conference championship. So, with the Alabama narrative that we have on us already, are they going to let a 3-loss SEC runner-up, especially Alabama, go to the college football playoff? I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to put it into existence, even though I already did. But if I'm Alabama, I don't want to put it in the committee's hands, because the narrative on us is, well, here we go again. Bama wants to get in with 3 losses. Oh, if the committee puts them in, Bama bias. It happens every year, but that's the scary scenario, okay? In my personal opinion, will they let a 3-loss Alabama team in there? I think they will. And the scary part about it is that's going to cause so much hell from other teams who are 10-2. It's going to be the, SEC Big Ten. They're going to put 5 teams in the SEC. Of course, they're going to have a 3-loss Bama team there. Now, if they don't, then there's going to be hell to pay, because now you're going to have other conferences like the Big Ten. What happens if they have a 3-loss runner-up? Are they in? Now, I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know if that's possible. It probably is, but if you're going to say you're not going to diminish conference teams, what happens if Bama goes into the conference championship and loses? Is their strength of schedule good enough? Because I think it is. Are you going to follow up on your words? I hope you do. I have no trust in the committee. But that's a scary scenario to think about if you're an Alabama fan. Me personally, I never wanted to go in the first place. I think it's worth it to just be 10-2, get an extra bye week, don't have to go to your conference. You played a tough schedule already. If you walk out of there 10-2, no conference championship, you're a lock. There's no doubt about it, and no one's going to argue with you, because we went through a murderer's row after Florida State, from Georgia to Vandy, Missouri, and then Tennessee. All ranked opponents, all in a row. Probably not in that order, but they were all in a row. So let's just hope and pray that nothing else crazy happens, because, I mean, that South Carolina A&M game, 30-3 at half, and they come back and make a miraculous comeback. Marcel Reed went scorched earth, and they put up 28 unanswered points. The first team in college football history to be down 27 at half and win. First team ever. Imagine if they would have lost. And then they have Texas. But now, the way I see it, Alabama fans, we need to hope and pray that A&M beats Texas. Georgia beats Georgia Tech. We beat Auburn. And then we get a home playoff win, hopefully. But yeah, it was, as far as the game, once again, we'll be fine. No running game. Once again, passing was off. It's not a fire to bore situation. Ty just needs to play better, man. That's it. If Ty just locks in, makes simple plays, throws the ball away, try not to give up a sack, and hold on to the ball. Everybody on that team needs to hold on to the fucking ball. Jeez. Ryan, hold on to the ball. Jeremy Bernard, hold on to the ball. Ty, hold on to the ball or throw it away. It's little things with Ty. And hopefully, Eastern Illinois comes in, he gets his confidence, and we go down to Auburn, and we find a way to win. Hopefully, we smack them. That'd be nice. And yeah, that's the best case scenario, guys. So, Alabama's fine. Our playoff hopes are still alive. There's no need to panic right now. Let's just get to the Iron Bowl. That's it. But that's it for college football. A new format officially came out. The All-Star format, okay? Now, when I talked about it, the news didn't break about how it was actually going to be set up. I thought it was just going to be USA versus World. Simple, right? That's what I thought it was going to be. But no. There's a whole new format. Okay? And here's how it goes. The NBA's new All-Star Game format for 2026 features a round-robin tournament. Imagine that. With 2 teams of U.S. players and 1 team of international players, known as the World Team. This replaces the traditional East versus West format and previous mini-tournament formats that were criticized for a lack of engagement. So you think this is going to get engagement. Interesting. All stars will be selected without regard to position, so positionless selections. And the tournament will consist of 4 12-minute games. And they have a little interesting caveat to this, which is called the commissioner's role. And what that is if the initial voting doesn't result in at least 16 Americans and 8 international players, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will select additional players to meet those minimums, ensuring the U.S. versus World theme is maintained. Okay, so the one thing that popped up to my head is the reason why this format is here, because of the criticisms of lack of engagement. Do we really think that these NBA players are going to engage in this? Honestly. You have a 2-on-1 USA versus World. Who is going to play the first 2 games? I guarantee it's going to be the 2 American teams. Guaranteed. Because you can't have a USA versus the World team first round. And if the World team gets beat, you're going to have 2 American teams play? That defeats the whole purpose of USA versus World. And I thought we were done with the round-robin tournament. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. I hate it. I hate this idea so much that I can't process on how somebody would come up with this. For one, the East versus West format lasted so long because it was successful. It made sense. I don't think anybody was criticizing the format. Now, were they criticizing the engagement? Yes, for sure. All-Star games, you see Steph and Trae Young pulling up from half, Luka and Jokic just fucking around, throwing the ball up in the air. Who cares? The only person who takes it serious is like Wemby, Giannis. You know, those guys always play serious. But this seems carnivalish. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing with this? Do I want to watch this? No, I don't. Because I can already see what's going to happen. Whoever, Steph, LeBron, if they make it, KD, whoever is the USA team, they're probably going to be on one team. What if they lose? What if you get an all-star of young guys and Ja, LaMelo, hopefully, Trae Young, and they go up against Shea, Luka, Wemby, Giannis, Jokic, Giddey, Şengün, and Franz Wagner, Sabonis. What are we gonna do? What is this? I need to know whose idea this was, because I know this wasn't Adam Silver. I think he just okays it. He probably has a board of like a couple people who were former players, and they think, oh, well, let's just add a round robin tournament again, even though we didn't like that in the first place. It's a 3-team tournament. For what? Now guess what though? Because last podcast I said, we're going to bitch, we're going to complain, we're going to criticize. That's what we do. I'm doing it right now. Okay? I said that already. But I need you guys to listen to me, like, briefly. Okay? I'm going to take the mantle here, and I'm going to fix the NBA All-Star Game. Okay? Here we go. It's super simple, by the way. It's very simple. Okay? We're going to go back to the East versus West format. Okay? 13 to 14 All-Stars, whatever the number is for a full team. Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. Those are your All-Stars. But DiJon, we have that already. I know. There's a little kick to it. Whatever conference wins gets the play-in tournament. Whatever conference loses does not get the play-in tournament, which means the losing conference goes back to the traditional 1 through 8 gets in, everybody else is shit out of luck. That's how you fix the All-Star Game. You have something that now everybody would want to play for. Because let's face it, there's most All-Stars that are in the top seed, top 4. But once you get to top 5 and under, that's play-in range. And the games are close. Like, once you get past All-Star break, it's a half game back, 1.5 games back, a full game back from like 7 to like 11. It was like that in the Western Conference last year. You don't think those guys will take that serious? When you put the opportunity to go to the playoffs on the line, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it'll bring engagement. I think it'll bring excitement, because then you have the trade deadline, All-Star break, and then once the winning and losing conference gets decided, now post All-Star break basketball is going to be better than ever for whatever conference loses. Let's just take the Eastern Conference, for example, okay? If this format was in, The Western All-Stars beat the Eastern All-Stars. And now, in a wide-open East, there's only 8 spots instead of 10. You don't think basketball would be better? You don't think those teams would go balls to the wall to try to get a spot? Same thing with the West. The West is loaded right now. All-stars everywhere. Imagine if they didn't have a play-in. Steph's always in the play-in. LeBron's been in the play-in multiple times. You got Zion. Who knows with the Mavericks, if they even get an all-star in there. But if you put this on the line, there's no money. You don't have to pay anybody. Everybody's going to take this serious because their team's playoff hopes are on the line. Listen, I don't know what I think. I think everybody needs to go and share this idea. Tag Stephen A. Tag Gil. Tag Club 520. Tag Nick Wright. Tag Adam Silver. His damn self. This needs to happen. It needs to happen. Throw this other format out the fucking window. Put my format in for free. East versus West. Winning conference gets a play-in. Losing conference doesn't get a play-in. And that's how you get engagement. It'll be an exciting game. And people will play. And that's the most important thing. You got to put something on the line. And these guys get paid millions of bucks. Money's not going to do it. This little USA versus world rivalry is not going to do it. My format will do it. We'll call it the free game format. Okay? Share the free game format with your friends. Get it to Adam Silver. But other than that, got some interesting news over the week. Obviously, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fell through. Imagine that. I think Tank got into some trouble. I don't know the full details, but it's just Tank being Tank, man. Like, this isn't nothing new. It's happened to him almost his whole boxing career, where he just outside the ring issues. So Jake Paul has to find another opponent. And a while back, probably like my last pod since yesterday's, it was like 6 or 7 months ago, I had some predictions. Okay, I predicted maybe Ryan Garcia versus Jake Paul. Maybe Logan Paul versus Jake Paul. Maybe Francis Ngannou versus Jake Paul. Per Mike Coppinger, a deal is getting finalized. It's not official yet. It's getting finalized with Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, former world heavyweight champion of the world, 36 years old. Just starched Francis Ngannou in his last, little exhibition fight. And what are my thoughts? Well, my thoughts are, I think aesthetically it'll look better than Tank would fighting Jake Paul, simply because of the size difference. If I'm in Jake's corner, I like this matchup. Simply because he's a former world heavyweight champion. He's obviously very skilled. He's decorated. He's accomplished. He's a serious opponent. He's like way heavier than Jake. And yeah, I think if he pulls this off, I think the boxing world will take him serious. Because Anthony Joshua, now listen, if you were listening to my pod back in 2020 when I said this, Anthony Joshua simply has a glass jaw. It's bad. It's very bad. And the opponents that he faces are very skilled. They're very they're like unorthodox, like Andy Ruiz, right? Let's take Andy Ruiz for example. He was a huge underdog in that fight and just outboxed him. Knocked him down a couple times, TKO. If Anthony Joshua faced somebody like Usyk, he would get murdered. Jake Paul's undersized. Now, I'm not saying Jake Paul is as skilled as Anthony Joshua by any means, but he's gettable. And in these little boxing exhibition fights, whatever you want to call it, if you're gettable, that's the way to go. Tank was a weird matchup because it was like a 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference. You didn't know who to pick. You obviously want to pick Tank, but I don't know. It was just a weird aesthetic looking matchup. This is completely different. This would be right up Jake Paul's alley. I believe that this is all strategic. I think he had Anthony Joshua lined up simply because he does have a glass jaw. If you get him, you got him. If you can hit him, you got him. But to Anthony Joshua's credit, I just knocked out one of the most scary knockout artists in combat sports. Handedly. In Francis Ngannou. I've went up against the Klitschko's. I've went up against Fury. You're Jake Paul. Now, the question is Anthony Joshua going to take Jake Paul serious if this fight happens? Because, once again, I say this a lot about boxing. I don't believe the fight happens until the weigh-in. That's just me. That's just me. You know, there's been some fishy stuff with boxing that has happened over the years of me watching it, where they do all these press runs and they promote and they do the face-offs left and right, and then boom, something happens and it falls. So I don't believe anything until the weigh-in. That's just how I roll. I did that with Crawford Canelo. I did that with Floyd McGregor. I do it with every fight because it's boxing. So if this fight does happen, which I think it's scheduled for December, crazy turnaround, so that means Anthony Joshua's in the gym, I'll be watching. Now, who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Anthony Joshua. I'm not dumb. But if Anthony Joshua does get knocked out, I will not be surprised because he does have a very loose jaw. It is shattered glass. Insane. But on the caveat, Francis couldn't get to him. I don't see Jake getting to him either. So it is what it is. We'll see. Man, I feel bad for Tank. All that talent, man. All that talent wasted on outside ring issues. I don't think we'll get the Lamont Roach versus Tank rematch. I think he's done. I honestly think Tank is done. I don't think he'll get another fight. If he does, it's not going to be the payday that he would have got with Jake Paul. I firmly believe this was his retirement plan. Get this bag, fight this kid, be done with boxing. He said it before himself that he doesn't see himself boxing for too long. And the sport of boxing has a huge issue right now, which is Crawford's old, Canelo's old, Fury's old. Who's our star? The guy that everyone hates is making the most money. Jake Paul. I hate to say it, guys, but who else? Ryan keeps getting in trouble. Devin Haney's not an exciting fighter. Teofimo is off and on. There's no it factor for the boxer. At all. I can't find one. I can't. The monster Inoue fights in Japan, so he doesn't get this market. He doesn't fight in the U.S. Usyk's phenomenal. He doesn't have the it factor, the personality. He's kind of like Triple G. You know, phenomenal boxer, but just doesn't have that it factor that boxing needs. You need someone with a personality and with the resume to lead your sport and be the face of that sport. Put asses in seats. Boxing doesn't have that right now. Crawford's got like 1, 2 max fights left. Canelo can fight for a long time. I think he's 33, but he has a lot of fights under his belt. So those tires have tread. That car has mileage on it. Who else? Who's the face of boxing? Can't be Tank now because he doesn't even want to do it. He doesn't care about the belts. All the young guys are just not ready yet. Who's the face of boxing? I don't want to say it, but Jake Paul. I don't know. It's a weird thing, and UFC kind of has that same thing with it too. It's just like Connor's gone, John Jones is gone. Who is the next star that's exciting? Hamzat, for me, I think he's a dog. He just doesn't fight enough. Patty, same thing. He doesn't fight enough. Sugar Sean, he took a couple losses, but he could still get back. But like I said, where's that dominant fighter? Tom Aspinall, his weight class doesn't have the John Jones and Francis's. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just like combat sports is in dire need of a superstar, Same with the NBA. LeBron hasn't played yet. Steph's old. Katie's old. Some of the young guys, somebody's got to get crowned. NFL still has Mahomes. He's going to be here for a while. MLB has Shohei. But for these combat sports, who's going to be the face of that organization? I don't know. It's an interesting thing to look into because I'm a firm believer in you got to have stars in your sport or they won't grow. That's just how it is, man. You got to have stars in your sport. But I'm going to do a little segment. This is kind of a short pod, but I want to do a segment every week called the Free Gamer of the Week, okay? And before I end the show, my Free Gamer of the Week is the head football coach of the Sydney Red Raiders, Coach Ryan Smith. Now, Coach Smith was my high school coach when I was in Hershey. I didn't play football, even though I tried, but I always didn't commit. But he was my assistant basketball coach, head JV football coach, or JV basketball coach. And I've been coached by a lot of people, okay? Middle school, high school, college. Coach Smith is at the very top of the list. Number 1 as my favorite coach of all time. If I ever needed advice on something, I went to him. If I ever had questions on my game, how I could get better, what do I need to do, I went to him. Even if it was just talking about the old days of how, when he played in college, I just go talk to him. He was the one coach where I just felt comfortable. Some coaches, they'll just give you the, not putting any names out there. I loved all my coaches, but some coaches will just give you the professional thing. Oh, just go put the time in, this, and that. He was very direct. You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. Very straight up, very honest with you. And listen, I got a bunch of Coach Smith stories. Some of them, 14 years ago, 13 years ago. I can't say that story because he'll probably, it's a new world. But I do have a Coach Smith story. So it was my senior year. We're playing St. Pat's. Okay. A big rivalry game, if you're not familiar. Hershey versus St. Pat's. And at the end of the first quarter, I hit a buzzer beater 3 from deep. And I went to the crowd, and, I had, my brother was in the crowd. I had friends from North Platte in the crowd. Other schools were in the crowd, the student section. I just went, let's go. Went to the bench, shoulder checking people, all hyped up. And Coach Jorgensen, shout out to him. He said, quit all that damn hot dogging on my ass, right? And it completely turned my energy down. Like, I'm a high energy person. Like, I love getting hype. I love, talking trash subtly. I don't like showboating or nothing, but, I like to get the crowd into a little bit of a showman back in high school and college, for sure, college. But, I was so down after Coach Jorgensen said that. Like, my whole demeanor just went down the drain. And Coach Smith pulled me aside and he said, "Look, DiJon, they're all idiots. Just go play basketball. They're all idiots." But I will say this, Coach. I do believe that good things happen to good people, and he is one of those people. So, Coach, got a couple things. For one, I'm still keeping tabs on you, and two, I'm proud of you. I hope you go get it. And they're going to the C1 state championship, so. The Sydney Red Raiders, go get you one. And Coach, go get you one. You deserve it. He is my free gamer of the week. And that is all, guys. Short pod, quick one, but it was fun. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you guys are on the TikTok, get on there. I'm on there. And yeah, if you guys want to leave a comment, do that too. I reply to most of them. And, let's see how next week turns out. That's free game, and I'm out.